adjustable, what I want you to do is wrap it around your back, just under your armpits, and what you should be able to do, if it's the right size, is you should just be able to pull it softly, and both ends should sit just in front of your chest. If this is not quite wide enough, it doesn't quite get forward enough, then obviously adjust it in size, and vice versa. If those are coming a long way forward, make the appropriate adjustment. Put it on a bit like a jacket, so the right arm goes down and through, we take it across the back, and then from there, holding it with your right hand, just let the left arm go down and through. From here, you should feel pretty comfortable. A tiny pinch in the back, but the arms should be able to sit down towards the floor in your address position. What I then want you to do is use the alignment rod to run through the two hooks. So we've got a loop at the front, we've got a loop at the back. Just think about these ends being even. And from here, you should be able to let your arms sit somewhat in front of your body in a comfortable position. Things will definitely feel like they're connected and compact, but they shouldn't feel uncomfortable at this stage.
美版旋转者发明人但 Frost 教怎样用旋转者瞄球，简单清晰。
Orientation of your habits, adjusting them, being able to start to work on a fundamentally more sound set of turns, tilts, alignments, and rotations. We're going to start off with alignments. One of the most typical things I see, having given thousands, maybe tens of thousands of lessons, is as a right-handed player, the golfer reaches for the ball. Think what that does to the way and the position of the torso by the dress. It opens it up. From here, it's enormously difficult to create a simple backswing. What I want you to do to start off with, before we get into big motions, I want you to think about how we can actually align that chest at address. Just having a little bit of awareness that the chest is square to the toe line and hitting soft shots from here is going to start to build a very different motion. We understand now that we've got to be square, which means, alignment from my chest to my toe line, right shoulder not being forward. But the one thing you will notice also from a face-on perspective is that there is a slight discrepancy to the level of my shoulders. Now, this is because the lead hand sits higher than the trail hand on the grip. This is a very natural position for a side-on sport, and it's one you need to adopt. If the right shoulder is too high, the right arm reaches too much, the alignments really kick out of place. So, remember, we're in line, right shoulder down a bit, and when this happens, it's very natural for a player to start to shift the lower center across. What most people will feel to start off with is that you are already a little rotated. What this is going to allow you to do is feel that the club can work in easier, and as it works in, you'll find it much easier then to start to turn your chest through the ball. So start small. Pay attention if there's a tendency of lining yourself, and hit some small shots from here. Just little punchy shots pushing the ball away. Starting to get the idea that if we're in a line position, it's easier to move the right shoulder back. If it moves back easier, it will move out easier. The second stage is really about starting to understand how the body works. A lot of players will move the shoulders in too much of a flat motion. What you'll notice with this is it actually moves my head across a lot, creating a whole heap of issues for a sport that I want to try and strike the ground in the same place each time. What I want you to think about in the second stage is in the backswing, the lead shoulder moves down a little bit. You can see the end of the cane starts to point somewhat down towards the ball. In the downswing, it moves back to square, and in the through swing, the right side moves down. This combination of rotation and tilts allows the head to stay very steady. This is critical if you want to return the club to the floor in the same place each time. So, little mantra, setting yourself up, really getting to the idea that check the alignment, pointing down in the backswing, down in the through swing. This is going to start to get you working on what we call a forward incline. Rather than something where you're going to stand up, you're actually going to work around staying down with your head in the right way. From here, I want to think about rotating your chest in a slightly different way. Not just that we get the lead side down, but I want you to align yourself with what the best in the world do. And that is actually getting the chest more open as they hit it. Because if that chest stalls, the club has to continue to accelerate and go past you. It's going to create a lot of inconsistent speeds, inconsistent deliveries. So let's clip a few. Nice and simple, not too much acceleration, just really working on those tilts. And you'll really get that sense of the chest starting to turn through the ball. It's a nice feeling. It's the opposite feeling to the hands and arms overworking or having to regather ourselves to get it back into balance. It becomes something that feels compact, something that works from the core, works from the rotation. The last thing I want you to start to do when you train is I want you to really start thinking about how the arms are connected. The great thing about the rotator is it really limits the lift, the up and down element. What this is going to do for you, because the arms don't lift, if you turn, you're really going to get like what we call an in-to-in movement. If I do that towards the camera, from a through swing perspective, you can see if I just turn and do very little with my arms, the club wants to work in on a circular basis. This is great because it's a side-on sport. We stand side-on. We want the club to work in a little bit on the way back, out in front of us, in a little bit on the way through. So reducing arm lift is a real simplifier when it comes to hitting shots. Really, for me, I try and switch off the arms, focus on the turn back, turn through, get into the idea that we just collect the ball. One checkpoint you can have when you're working with the rotator is when you finish, your arms, chest, all going to be pointing in the same direction. This means that they've moved through the ball in a nice synchronized way.